Hi folks, and welcome to October. Yes, it's October 1st, 2021, and we're ringing in the month of Halloween. This is Cord Cutting Weekly, the show where we wrap up the past week in cord cutting and streaming news. And this week we've got some major carriage disputes coming down to the wire, Netflix investing more and more into gaming, several streaming services offering new channels and content, and more. But first, of course, if you haven't done so by now, please do take a second or two to consider clicking on those like and subscribe buttons down below. Those really do help out our channel, and we'd really appreciate it. And if this is the first time you're checking out Cord Cutting Weekly, just a quick heads up. For every story we're about to discuss here, we'll have links to posts down below in the video description, and those posts will bring you over to our news website, cordcuttersnews.com. And now that we're all on the same page, let's talk about some news, starting with some big carriage disputes between Google's YouTube TV and NBCUniversal. Okay, to kick things off today, let's talk about one of the biggest stories we've been tracking all week long, and that's the carriage dispute between YouTube TV and NBCUniversal. So the existing carriage deal was set to expire on Thursday, September 30th, and it looks like the two sides managed to hammer out a short-term extension at the proverbial 11th hour. The agreement means YouTube TV will not immediately lose access to 14 NBCU channels currently on offer on the live TV streaming service, and it also buys the two sides more time to continue their renewal talks. We've been tracking the back and forth between YouTube TV and NBCUniversal all week long, and it seems the two sides need a little more time to hash things out. For now though, it looks like NBCU channels will remain on YouTube TV. And you can check out more in our full post link down below in the video description. And before we move on, let's recap how YouTube TV and NBCUniversal got to this point in the first place. So last weekend, our very own Jess reported that NBCUniversal sent out a warning to YouTube TV subscribers that they could lose access to 14 channels if Google and NBCUniversal could not come to terms on a new carriage agreement. And those channels include well-known options like NBC, CNBC, E, Sci-Fi, and the USA Network, among several others. And as the week progressed, Google responded via its YouTube blog to say that if a deal could not be reached in time, it would lower monthly rates by $10 to compensate for the loss of key channels. And then later in the week, Lightshed's Rich Greenfield reported that Peacock could have been a sticking point, suggesting that NBCU was trying to get YouTube TV to bundle in Peacock Premium as a part of its carriage agreement. Meanwhile, Google sent out email updates to YouTube TV users during the week, suggesting that negotiations were ongoing, reminding them of the potential price drop, and also mentioning that Peacock could be an alternative for access to NBCU content if the two sides could not come to an agreement. Which brings us, of course, to the September 30th expiration date of the existing carriage agreement between the two sides. And I'm sure many of you have thoughts on the whole saga, whether you're Team YouTube TV or Team NBCUniversal, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section down below. In other carriage news, this week we also reported on the pending expiration of another deal, this one between Comcast and MSG Networks. This one would affect Comcast Xfinity customers in New Jersey and Connecticut and would mean losing access to sports broadcast for several New York teams, including the Knicks, Rangers, Islanders, and Red Bulls, as well as the New Jersey Devils. Now, this deal was also set to expire on September 30th, and at the time of our recording, we were still waiting on an official announcement on whether or not the two sides could come to an agreement in time. And if we hear of any updates after this video is recorded and posted, we'll be sure to post updates in the video description down below, and definitely stay tuned to cordcuttersnews.com. It's been a popular week for carriage disputes. Moving on, this week Netflix took another major step in its efforts to add gaming to its library of entertainment options. The streaming service announced that it has acquired its first game development studio, a team called Night School Studio. Now, if that name sounds familiar, you might have heard of their well-received supernatural mystery game Oxenfree, which was released back in 2016. No financial info was shared, but Night School Studio co-founder Sean Krankle posted a blog entry to share his thoughts on the deal. In the post, Krankle said, quote, "Our explorations in narrative gameplay and Netflix's track record of supporting diverse storytellers was such a natural pairing. It felt like both teams came to this conclusion instinctively." The studio is currently developing a sequel to Oxenfree called Oxenfree 2: Lost Signals, and Krankle said work on that title will continue despite the acquisition. We don't know of any Netflix-specific titles in the works just yet, but we'll definitely keep an eye out as it seems clear Netflix is getting serious about gaming. And just a heads up, you may have noticed that Cord Cutters News has been dipping its toe into gaming coverage, including our recent video on Google Stadia service. And announcements like this one suggest gaming could be even further intertwined with streaming entertainment as we move forward, especially with several game streaming services already available. And if that kind of coverage is of interest to you, let us know. In other Netflix news, the streaming service shared some rare insight into viewership numbers this week during the Code Conference event. Now, if you've been following Netflix for a while, you might know the company has traditionally been very tight-lipped about its viewership numbers. So the data it shared this week offered a rare glimpse into the streaming service's most popular titles. And at the very top of the list of shows is Season 1 of Bridgerton, with some 82 million accounts tuning in during the first 28 days of the series' debut. Lupin Part 1 came in second, while The Witcher Season 1 took third. Other well-known titles like Stranger Things and The Queen's Gambit also made an appearance on the top 10 list. Now, if some of these rankings come as a surprise to you, it's worth pointing out these stats cover the first 28 days of a given show's availability, and Netflix's overall user base is much larger today than it was for, say, when Stranger Things Season 1 first appeared. On the movie side, Extraction came out on top with 99 million accounts checking it out during its first 28 days, and Sandra Bullock's Bird Box came in second at 89 million. You can check out more of Netflix's top hits in our full post link down below in the video description, and feel free to let us know if any of the entries surprise you, or perhaps there's a show or movie you thought would be on the list but wasn't. You know where to let us know. In Frndly TV news, the family-focused streaming service is gaining more content options starting on October 1st. The streamer is now offering Hallmark Movies Now as an optional add-on. The channel offers on-demand commercial-free access to Hallmark movies and shows from the Hallmark Channel, Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, and more. The add-on runs for $5.99 per month, and that's on top of the regular Frndly TV rate of $5.99 per month for 20-plus family-friendly channels like the Weather Channel, Curiosity Stream, and others. And of course, you can find out more info in our post link down below in the video description. In Roku news, the company is adding to its slate of Roku originals with 3 horror titles just in time for Halloween. The titles include When the Streetlights Go On, 50 States of Fright, and The Expecting. All 3 are expected to launch on the company's free streaming platform, aka the Roku channel, during October, and yes, you can find out more about each title at our full post linked down below. And last but definitely not least, an in-house programming note. This week, Jess shared her thoughts on the Vizio P-Series Quantum TV. She's been trying out a display Vizio sent her way, and if you want to learn more about the company's high-end LED TV, be sure to check out the link included down below in the video description. The model Jess tested typically rings in at around $1,300, which is certainly not a rock-bottom price, but as you'll see in the full post link down below, the P-Series Quantum 4K TV does pack in some impressive specs for the money, including support for HDMI 2.1. And if you'd like to know more about the latest displays on the market, especially with HDMI 2.1 and ATSC 3.0 continuing to grow and mature, let us know in the comment section down below. So there you go, those were some of the top stories from the past week, and as we always say around here, thank you for watching. Before you go, don't forget those all-important like and subscribe buttons down below. They really do help out our channel, and they help signal to YouTube that they should recommend our content to more and more viewers. And hey, if you or someone you know is a first-time cord cutter or is thinking about cutting the cord, be sure to check out our recent video covering some of our favorite tips for cutting the cord. You can find a link to that video down below in the video description and up in the corner here as well. For now though, my name is Philip Palermo. Thank you all for tuning in once again, and we'll see you all next week. Take care.